Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to chat to you about a few things happening with me in my life right now. Currently, I'm actually going to do running in the Nationals in Adelaide. I actually leave tomorrow as of the time filming this. Today's Wednesday, I leave tomorrow Thursday to head down to Adelaide. And I've also last weekend just had a basketball competition. I want to talk about that. In today's video, however, I might not sound as enthusiastic. I'm just going for a bit of a harsh time, and with all these events coming up on my mind, it's hard to concentrate. My brain's very fried and frizzled right now, but I'll do the best to demonstrate what's been going on and what everything's happening. So last week I went to a basketball competition. The basketball competition was down in a place called Bombardier. It's 2 hours south of where I'm from. And in the basketball competition, I was doing A-grade basketball for Special Olympics. And while down there, I did a bit of filming. It's kind of like a light vlog, I guess you can say. I have some footage of me driving, well, not me driving, but my father driving the rain. It was really bad. In Australia, in Sydney, we actually had a really bad rainstorm last week. And Manly and a few other places got quite bad flooding. Some places and some dams actually overflew. So here's some footage right now, as you can hear as I'm talking, of the rain, how bad it was. Arriving down there, we arrived on the Friday after my work. I drove down with my dad, and on the Friday we went into our hotel, a quite nice place. It was the Quest. It was a very nice hotel. They actually gave out a cool thing we found out later on, in the freezer they actually gave us 2 complimentary Magnum ice creams, so that was actually pretty cool. Pretty nice place to stay. I recommend it. It was quite nice. There was a few little hiccups here and there, but you know, no hotel is ever perfect. But yeah, so going down to the actual basketball competition, how it works is everyone already is pre-assigned your grade. Sometimes, you know, you might go down there, might go, hey, listen, you've been playing really well. We think you should move up to a higher grade because your skill set is too much for this grading level. You know, it wouldn't be fair for LeBron James to verse a bunch of kindergartners. I don't think anyone would ever debate me on that topic. I hope not. But what happened was, I was in A grades, and they grabbed all the A graders together, and what they do is once you're all in A grades and they grab all the grades together, they then decide to select teams based on player statistics and knowledge of how good or bad a player might be. They want to make it fair and balanced. They don't want to make an all-star team of professionals. They want to make every A-grade team to be reasonably fair. No one team just absolutely dominate the comp and no one team do absolutely poorly. You know, there is a difference. You know, it's hard to manage all this stuff in basketball, you know, especially when a team wins a lot of games and especially when a team loses a lot of games. A good thing to remember is, you know, to check the score to see how big of a score difference, because even if a team like loses every game, if they only lose by like 3 or 4 points, it isn't really the end of the world. You know, it's not great, it's not fun, but you know, it's hard to make a perfect tournament, you know. Okay, sorry about that. The wind just got really bad, so I had to grab this device that makes it hopefully not sound as bad and as windy. First time using it, so see how it goes. Anyway, so we got there wasn't a lot of players, and they decided to make 5 teams this time for the tournament. And when doing the 5 teams, originally it looked like there would be no subs and we didn't have enough players for subs. However, a few more people started to show up a little bit later, just before we went into what we call grading. I'll get into that. And we managed to get up to 6 players in my team. And my team was quite good. We had a big guy, we had a really good shooter. We had a really good female. She's a really good shooter in the comp. She's probably one of the best people, way better than me. I'm not a very good shooter in basketball, I'll tell you that right now. I'm personally way more of a defensive type. And then we just had a few, you know, just general really good players all around. Some people that played in state and some people have just played locally at their own things. So yeah, pretty good. Moving into grading was good, no real issues. Our team, or none of the teams really sound dominant. I don't think anyone actually got moved around. So we had 4 games on our first day, and the idea of the games was, because there was an odd number, we would have some bye games. You'd have at least 1 bye game. You'd have 2 A-grade teams versing and then 2 C-grade teams versing at the same time, because there was 4 courts. And then after that, you'd have 2 B grade teams versing and then 2 D grade teams versing on those courts immediately after, giving every single team an hour's break. However, because A grade have 5 teams, you'd have 2 teams versing and then the other 2 teams having their break, and then 1 team would also then have to have a bye game and not have a game. Now, our team had their bye game on the Sunday, the second day and the last day of the competition. And this becomes important later because our team, we were very lucky, we were very skillful. There was a few matches that came really close. I think there was a match where there was a 6-point difference, but we actually managed to win all 4 of our day 1 matches. No pun due to our team working really well, talking, communicating. There was no shot clock or anything like that. There was no real timeouts. The clock never actually paused. So our team worked really hard to get on getting ahead and then just slowing down the play and just burning the clock, to say nice, as I like to call it. So after winning all 4 of our games, we wanted to have a little bit of a celebration. So I grabbed a few of my friends from the other teams because everyone gets moved on to teams randomly. And we went out to a tavern. Well, my dad and I actually went out to a tavern together, and we went, I think it's called the Postman's Tavern, and we went out and we had a drink and a bit of dinner, a bit of that. And then my friends contacted me saying they wanted me to come down to an RSL down the road. And we went down to the RSL after we finished watching footy that night. I wanted to watch the Manly game as my father's a Manly supporter, so I wanted to support him. It was actually a good game. Apparently we had really bad wingers and we got lucky against Penrith Panthers, so word soup to me, doesn't really bother me. After that we went down to the RSL club down the road. However, when I went with my friends at the RSL club, the issue was for some reason this club had decided not to pay for a Foxtel license and didn't actually have the sports on, and the Dolphins were versing the Tigers and everyone wanted to go see that game next. So I went all the way down the hill and down to see my mates, only to grab them and bring them all the way back up to the tavern up the road. So we grabbed them, went up to the tavern, had a few more drinks, a few more beers, a bit of pokey some of the people went on, and it was a really good night. Especially because we looked at the timings of all the matches and I found out that my match tomorrow, because we had the bye game, our bye game actually happened on what was meant to be our semi-finals. And because of that, we didn't actually have to now do our semis. So now we get to go straight into the finals. So we got a massive sleep in, very nice. Checked out around 11 a.m. the next day out of the hotel. And before we knew it, we were at the stadium. And I went there, and while at the stadium, I actually got asked by my coach, my Friday night basketball coach, if I could do the scoreboarding for the next game, the B grade teams. Happily accepted. I had no idea how to ever do it. I've never actually done scoreboarding before. It was a fully new concept to me. And I took it up on the job and I decided to do some scoreboarding. It's actually quite fun, It's actually, to me, I was actually quite surprised how much fun I enjoyed watching it, being able to not feel stressed out, actually playing, actually having any, weight on the match, but just seeing it and just having a laugh. And when a guy scores that you were hoping would score, it's quite fun. Quite fun to actually, not be the player for once and actually enjoy the game watching it. After the scoreboarding match, it was time for our match. Sadly, however, I actually forgot to grab my basketball shoes out of the car because I was doing the scoreboarding. So immediately after the scoreboarding match I did ended, I immediately had to go into my match. And because I didn't have my shoes, I had to ask my dad to grab my shoes for me while I started doing some warm-ups because I also had no time to do warm-ups. It immediately flipped me. I completely messed up the timing schedule. That is truly my bad. And I thank my dad for running to the car and grabbing my shoes. While I was away, it wasn't looking too good. The enemy team had a really good player, and he managed to score 5 baskets quite early on in the first quarter. It was an 8-minute quarter. And by the time that I got to go on, I think it was 2-7. And then by the time I hopped off and the quarter had ended, it was 4-9, and I had helped score that second basket. Throughout the match, it was a very stressful match. It was a whole game of taking our time, rebuilding our stats, organising the team, as I like to be a bit of a team captain, very vocal on the courts, organising full court, half court press, 2-3 zone, stuff like that. You know, these are just, they're all simple things. They're nothing big. You know, if any NBA characters actually watching this, they'll probably think, oh, that's absolutely nothing. We do that every night. And it is true. It is true. But I was the guy in charge of making sure all that went well and everyone stayed in their position, because everyone makes a mistake. Sometimes people run out of the zone and lets a guy in, stuff like that. After a grueling match of, 4 sets of 8-minute quarters, we actually managed to make a comeback and we won. I believe the final score was 33-19, if I'm correct. I got 4 fouls, so not good from me, but for the final match, in the winning match, in the gold medal match, I was pretty happy. I was very happy. It was a very nice tournament and I quite enjoyed it. It was good being out with friends and socializing and having a sport to do in the background. And yeah, it was a really good time. For me now, however, though, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'll be heading to Adelaide. Tomorrow morning I fly up there. For my race in Adelaide, I will be doing 800 meter in the open men's para division. There's a few people I know, a few people I don't know. It's, the normal stress of a running race. I hope to do well. I'd like to beat 205. 205 was the time that I made last year. If I can do a sub 205, that'd be pretty crazy. I never know how I'm gonna do. And I actually have the mindset, because when I was a child, I used to get really stressed out when running, like, oh my God, I gotta make this target. I gotta beat this kid. I gotta do this, I gotta do this. It really started to get to me as a kid. So my mindset in athletics has now become, I don't care. I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna have fun, because I know I've done the train. I know I've done all this work. I know I've put myself through a lot of pain. If I can't hit my target, I haven't trained enough. Some mistake has happened, but I know that I've trained enough and I know I'm gonna hit my target. So the last thing I need to do is put a target out there. I just need to go there and have fun and run fast. And that's actually my mindset. It sounds a bit doomer, I guess, doom and gloom. But when you view it, you're really just taking all the morals out of it and all the stress, and you're just going, run, just run. We've made it all the way here. I'm going all the way to the Great Adelaide. Let's have some fun. There's a German village there, so there'll be lots of beautiful tap water for me to have a taste of. And yeah, I hope in next week, I might actually upload next week a video, because I feel like this video wasn't as special. So I hope to do a double upload next week. Next week's video will be the video that I wanted to do this week. There was a video I wanted to do this week instead, a bigger video, so I'll do that one next week. In addition, I should hopefully, I do next week or the week after, depending on how I feel, a video on how I went in Adelaide, and let you guys and girls, all know how I went in Adelaide. So thank you for watching the video. It was nice chatting to all of you. Have a great time. Thanks for watching the content. If you do watch it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'd love all the feedback. But yeah, have a good day. Au revoir.